What if I told you that the most explosive growth story in human history wasn't about a tech startup or a viral social media platform, but about 12 ordinary guys who turned the Roman Empire upside down in just 30 years? Today we're diving deep into the book of Acts, and trust me, this ancient text reads like the ultimate entrepreneurial success story, mixed with supernatural thriller elements that would make Hollywood jealous. The book of Acts, written by Luke around 62 AD, serves as the sequel to his gospel account. Think of it as the bridge between the life of Jesus and the explosive growth of the early Christian church. Luke wasn't just some random historian either. He was a physician who traveled extensively with the Apostle Paul, giving us an eyewitness account of many events he describes. The book opens with Jesus giving his final instructions to his disciples before ascending to heaven. In Acts chapter 1 verse 8, Jesus tells them they'll receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon them, and they'll be witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. This verse essentially becomes the roadmap for the entire book. It's like Jesus handed them a business plan for global expansion. But here's where things get wild. 10 days after Jesus ascends, the disciples are gathered in Jerusalem during Pentecost, when suddenly the Holy Spirit descends like rushing wind and tongues of fire. Picture this scene. These formerly terrified disciples who had been hiding behind locked doors suddenly start speaking in different languages they'd never learned. Foreign visitors from across the Roman Empire hear the gospel message in their native tongues. It's like the ultimate translation app, but supernatural. Peter, who had denied Jesus just weeks earlier, stands up and delivers this incredible sermon to thousands of people. He quotes from the prophet Joel in Psalm 16, explaining how Jesus fulfilled ancient prophecies. The result? 3,000 people become believers in one day. That's the kind of conversion rate that would break any marketing analytics dashboard. But the growth doesn't stop there. Acts chapter 4 tells us the number grows to 5,000 men, not counting women and children. These early believers share everything in common. They sell their possessions and distribute to anyone in need. It's like the world's first successful commune, except it actually worked because of divine intervention. The religious authorities aren't thrilled about this explosive growth. They arrest Peter and John, commanding them to stop preaching about Jesus. Peter's response in Acts 4 verse 19 is legendary. He essentially tells them whether it's right to obey God or man, they'll let the authorities judge. But they can't stop speaking about what they've seen and heard. It's civil disobedience with eternal consequences. As the movement grows, internal challenges emerge. Acts chapter 6 introduces us to a conflict between Greek-speaking and Hebrew-speaking believers over food distribution to widows. The apostles' solution is brilliant. They appoint 7 deacons to handle administrative tasks while they focus on prayer and preaching. One of these deacons, Stephen, becomes the first Christian martyr. Stephen's death in Acts chapter 7 marks a turning point. A young Pharisee named Saul holds the coats of those stoning Stephen, approving of his execution. This same Saul becomes the catalyst for the next phase of the story. Persecution scatters believers throughout Judea and Samaria, but instead of crushing the movement, it spreads it exactly as Jesus had predicted. Philip, another deacon, takes the gospel to Samaria with incredible results. He then encounters an Ethiopian official, reading from Isaiah chapter 53 about the suffering servant. Philip explains how this prophecy points to Jesus, and the Ethiopian gets baptized on the spot. This scene in Acts chapter 8 shows the gospel crossing ethnic and geographical boundaries. But the most dramatic conversion comes in Acts chapter 9. Saul, breathing threats against believers, is traveling to Damascus to arrest more Christians when a blinding light knocks him to the ground. Jesus himself appears to Saul, asking why he's persecuting him. This encounter transforms history's greatest persecutor into its greatest missionary. Saul becomes Paul. Meanwhile, Peter receives a vision in Acts chapter 10 that changes everything. God shows him a sheet filled with unclean animals, commanding him to eat. When Peter protests, God responds that he shouldn't call unclean what God has made clean. This vision prepares Peter to visit Cornelius, a Roman centurion, marking the first time the gospel officially goes to Gentiles. The church in Antioch becomes the launching pad for systematic missionary work. Acts chapter 13 begins Paul's first missionary journey with Barnabas. They face opposition in Cyprus, see miraculous healings in Lystra, where people try to worship them as gods, and establish churches throughout modern-day Turkey. The Jerusalem Councils in Acts chapter 15 addresses a crucial question. Do Gentile converts need to follow Jewish law? After intense debate, the apostles decide that Gentiles only need to abstain from food sacrificed to idols, blood, meat from strangled animals, and sexual immorality. This decision removes barriers to Gentile conversion and accelerates global expansion. Paul's second missionary journey in Acts chapter 16 introduces us to Lydia, the first European convert, and the dramatic prison experience in Philippi. After Paul and Silas are beaten and imprisoned, an earthquake opens all the prison doors. Instead of escaping, they stay and lead their jailer to faith. The magistrates who illegally imprisoned Roman citizens suddenly become very apologetic. Paul's time in Athens during Acts chapter 17 showcases his intellectual approach to ministry. Speaking to Greek philosophers at the Areopagus, he quotes their own poets and uses their altar to an unknown god as a bridge to present the gospel. Some mock him, others want to hear more, and a few believe, showing different responses to the same message. The riot in Ephesus during Acts chapter 19 reveals the economic impact of the gospel. Silversmiths who make shrines for the goddess Artemis see their business threatened as people stop buying idols. The resulting riot shows how spiritual transformation creates economic disruption. Paul's farewell to the Ephesian elders in Acts chapter 20 is incredibly moving. He warns them of coming difficulties and reminds them to remember his words, that it's more blessed to give than receive. A quote from Jesus not recorded in the Gospels. Despite prophetic warnings about imprisonment, Paul feels compelled to return to Jerusalem. Acts chapter 21 shows him being arrested in the temple, beginning a legal process that takes him all the way to Rome. His defense speeches before Felix, Festus, and Agrippa in Acts chapters 24 through 26 demonstrate his strategic use of Roman citizenship and legal systems. The book concludes with Paul's dramatic sea voyage to Rome, including a shipwreck on Malta where he survives a poisonous snake bite and heals many sick people. Acts chapter 28 ends with Paul under house arrest in Rome, boldly preaching the kingdom of God to all who visit him. What makes Acts so compelling is how it shows ordinary people accomplishing extraordinary things through divine empowerment. These weren't superhuman individuals. They faced fear, made mistakes, and dealt with conflicts. Yet their unwavering commitment to their mission transformed the ancient world. The book of Acts proves that, with the right message, passionate commitment, and supernatural backing, a small group of dedicated individuals can literally change the course of human history. From 12 disciples in an upper room to a movement spanning the Roman Empire in just 3 decades, that's the kind of growth story that makes even the most successful modern entrepreneurs take notes.